Charles, it's been a little bit since we've been up here on the third floor, and things look dramatically different and really cool. Tell us what's going on here.
Well, we're in a two-bedroom unit, and we finally brought our final coat of mudding the sheetrock wall, ready for prime paint. What I think is unique is behind you, here's our oblong duct.
Cool.
That was put through the wall rather than run the entire ductwork, so we could hang the board and tape around it.
Okay.
And I call these guys artists because of how tight they've gotten that coat.
That's nice.
Here and on the opposite wall, there's another small one. The last thing we'll put up in the ceiling will be the ductwork. But what we're looking at in this little box affair is actually a kitchen.
Okay.
So we'll have cabinets on the back wall, hung, lower cabinets, refrigerator, stove, microwave, center island here with a dishwasher. We are testing our floor covering. Months ago we talked about that I ground all these floors.
Right.
I sealed them. I put 2 or 3 layers of polish on top to buff them up, and they look wonderful. Well, they don't look wonderful now. And this is a test. Can all this material, first of all, be swept up, and then there's a little washer. We have found a little tenant machine, walk behind washer to scrub the floors, so we don't have to attempt it with the old mop by hand. And we'll try to bring the luster back up on the floors before we prime coat all these walls. Now, our next step is to prime all, they'll sand the sheetrock, then we'll prime all the walls, you know, the color that they're supposed to be, a primer coat. Our cabinets are in. They're waiting for me to prime the walls. We'll start setting the cabinets. The same carpenter that is setting all the cabinets, uppers and lowers and islands, is going to be the same setting all the door frames. So it's a finished carpenter that does all that work.
Very nice.
Getting materials to different levels is an important part of any construction job. What's funny about this whole building is we are using the same techniques they did back at the time they operated, because they work so well.
What, 70 years ago?
Yeah.
Around? Wow. How is the ductwork going to run? Is it going to follow the electric, or
No,
how is that going to work?
it'll be because of our beams, because of our concrete beams, which has been a bone of contention through the entire job. We will go a straight shot across.
Okay.
So the spiral duct is not to be painted, it's to be shown. It's a nuance. The ceilings are all painted white. The concrete beams are natural and the columns are natural, so we point out the framework behind in every apartment, but the ductwork will be all the galvalume spiral ductwork to be shown,
It looks like the ceiling's been painted since last time we were here.
Right. All the formwork, all the 2x10s, 2x6s, 2x8s, it was whatever they had to fill in for the formwork for the pours does accent that and does come out.
It's interesting. I mean, you can see like the nail heads, and it's almost
You see
an
the
optical illusion, right? Because it looks like it's a wooden ceiling,
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
but it's poured concrete.
Well, when you start seeing the
Sure.
air bubbles from the concrete pour here, you know what's interesting, I learned from the last Southtown meeting with Main Street Medina was the history of Clements Concrete, who was just on the east of this property, where we have a cornerstone of Clements Contracting.
Okay.
So he owned a concrete place, he was a contractor on this building. It just like, my head went, well, oh yeah, no wonder it's all concrete.
That's
It's
cool.
a concrete guy.
Sure.
You know?
So this is in the front of the building, main entrance, kitchen, living space,
Right.
and bedrooms on each side.
2
Is that what
bedrooms
you're
on
saying?
each side and 2 bathrooms.
And this one runs the entire width of the
The
building.
width of the building is the Court Street front has more windows. Well, let me see. No, the one below us has more windows because we're smaller. Each floor has a different window layout. But they have the view of Court Street.
Very nice.
We have a larger 2-bedroom on the south side of the building. It's absolutely huge. Living space is almost double the capacity here of this living space. But it then looks to the south side and the entrance to the restaurant. They'll look over and see the roof canopy that we have not put on.
see what the progress is coming from after the building.
All right.
So Charles, tell us a little bit about your I can't even do the Pink Floyd another brick in the wall because clearly the bricks are gone. What's going on with this part?
Well, in this apartment, for months we were working and building it by sneaking through stud back and forth. This is the original silo wall, the south wall for the original silo, 7 compartments.
Okay.
You can see underneath,
Right.
which were the compartments that came off. And at the 3rd floor, we come up through the roof with just clay building tile because there was no feed at this, so we didn't need the concrete reinforcement until we got down to this part here. Now to get into the apartment, we're saving this wall, we'll grind it. It looks pretty dirty with a concrete slurry over it.
Yeah.
But we're gonna grind it, we're gonna clean the brick as possible, and this is gonna be our south wall for our hallway. And this is the doorway into the apartment. We'll set a new hollow metal frame for this door. It's unique to almost every other door that we have for the entrances because of the clay tile, and then clean the edges up. But you can see the saw cutting.
Sure.
But here's a good chance to take a look at the raw walls, the plumbing inside the walls, but more importantly, the sprinkler lines out of PVC on the apartment levels. A god awful orange. But we'll paint that, just not the heads of the sprinkler pipes.
Sure.
This opening that we're standing in front of is what I wanted to point out.
Okay.
In the early days, they probably had ropes and stuff. They didn't have walls like we have, hydraulic lifts. But how they got material from storage on this floor up and down was through 2 wooden doors with lights.
Really?
And we are duplicating those doors. They're ordered. I just won't put them up because I'm not going to put anything in. Each level has one of these openings into it. So I get all the cabinets, all the stoves, all the refrigerator, all the big equipment up into this floor.
And it's all coming through here.
It's all coming through here. We have a gravel drive on the outside.
Yeah.
And our big wall drives around and lifts material up. And we've done it with the shower stalls. We've done it with all the 2x4s. We've done it with almost every piece of equipment there is that's up on this floor.
So you're having new doors made. Is this, are they gonna have windows in it? Is it gonna be like a sliding door or?
No, they're 2 double doors. Each door is 4 foot wide by 8 foot tall.
Wow.
See the steel lintels, 8 foot. And on the top, say above this piece of plywood, each door has 6 window layers at the bottom. And we're duplicating that look. So what they'll see in this apartment is they'll have windows right here.
Yeah.
More windows than any other apartment, but they'll have 12 windows looking down at the square.
So what we're seeing here, this is the original silo in the building. I think you said there were like 7 different parts of the tower?
7 sections.
Okay. So they're gonna fill with the grain and the feed and then mix it.
Well, we could have corn over here, you could have barley over here, you could have another product over there. So there are 7 different silos. They didn't intermix corn this month. This is always the corn silo.
Okay.
This is always the barley silo. And they would weigh the trucks when they came in so they were fair with the farmers.
So it looks like you've put into the silos, so this is gonna stay. That is part of the history of the building.
This is staying. It is the history. It's the original south wall, and I'm fully convinced in doing this work that the floors are new, the ceilings are new, concrete, because it was all open top and bottom. After we cut the sections off, I wanted to keep the sections to accent the different silos, but at the same time, the ones that aren't broken off, they're supporting another beam across the floor up above. So it's all structural issues. What will be impressive is we clean this all up, grind it a couple times, get rid of studs and things that can be harmful to personnel. But it'll be a rough and tumble industrial look. I'm not filling voids in concrete. We'll paint them, but I'm not filling them because that's the side of the silo.
Sure.
So one of my partners says, I like the industrial look. I said, well, we'll get it here, that's for sure.
So then this is another place where you had to cut through.
Yeah, this is, in fact, I think the flap's still there.
The building must have shook a little bit.
Oh, everything shook when this dropped, but we have, underneath that insulation pieces, we
cut it in sections so we can move it. We still have to break it into smaller sections because our laborers, this material will go out those double 4-foot by 8-foot doors with our wall, but I've got to roll it to that, over to that place. Right through the building where we cut the doorway in, you can see where we were allowed to add a window and how we've toothed out the masonry on the outside. Every room has a window at every apartment. And that's tedious work. That's where we had to get the color selection of 7 different colors, and we have to tooth it out, and we have to plan what colors we're going to be putting in so it looks original. It's a longer process than just cutting a hole in the wall and putting the window in there, because it has to look original. And that has been a very, very long process of getting the right color mortar. We've been through 7 different colors and mixed designs, and we want it just a little bit lighter yet. So our aggregate is a cement aggregate sand and a normal building sand together with a buff color mortar mixture to get what we believe is going to be the right color of the original building. The trouble is, the age of the original building and each wall system, whether it be south, east, in the sunlight, they hit it over the years, change the color of the mortar on every wall we go, and above the canopy and below the canopy. So we're going to have 7 different colors going into the building depending where it's located. And our opening, once again, they want to see the masonry, the opening dividing into 2 sides. That's the original firewall that we cut through for passageway. And it was indicated to the state people they want to see the masonry, they don't want me to cover it, they want to see it when I cut it. So we've repatched the masonry into that wall using the original brick. A little bit off on color though, still a little bit off on color. So we'll probably grind out, repoint those bricks to get them a closer blend, or at least the mortar holding the bricks in place.
It's a little bit, but I think it's interesting that it shows the changes. Same thing on the outside.
This is our utility nightmare. This is where our electric power goes in. The holes that are drilled in the wall is where the piping for each one of these gas meters will go into our building up to the different floors from the old elevator closet on the back wall.
Yeah.
But 38 meters. 38 meters, 2 levels. You gotta be careful that the gas company guy can't come out here and lift so much with a ladder up high, so he had to go longer and wider. And there's an example of one of the larger units sitting out on the edge, which is probably for the restaurant. That's a bigger meter than one that we had originally, so they just put it on there so we could fire off and test one portion of our furnaces and equipment in the building. But this is our utility corner, and underneath, right inside the wall, right on this edge, is the entrance for all the residents and their parking going down the public hallway to the elevator. But also behind this wall where that plywood is our electrical closet. And off of this pole behind me, what I call dip pole, because it comes across the railroad tracks with the power. And I don't have to make that easement to do it, it's already done. I'll come down this pole, it's a transformer next to that pole, and in the underground feed 6 4-inch PVC pipes into the electrical closet. Just to make things more interesting, on top of all these utilities and all these 1s and 2s that we did as a driveway to access the doorways, is my dumpster pad, right where we stand. And I have to put a 6 or 7 foot masonry wall around 3 sides of the dumpsters so the general public can't see the dumpsters, which is great because I'm going to put the pad in as far as I can for a straight shot for the truck, but it also will conceal the utilities on this building. This is the only utilities I've allowed that wasn't original to go on the building because I had to, and the state realizes that, but I'll be able to conceal it with my silo and my dumpster walls, but no one will ever see this. If you look up to the right, you see that steel hanging off of my structural elements for the canopy. You see like a little ledge that was built there. That was the original heat and air conditioning unit that air conditioned the retail space on the first floor for the Farmers Exchange. That was the only retail area, the rest was all storage. We're going to utilize that, and that's an advantage to us because we have a makeup air unit that's necessary for the exhaust hood of the restaurant. And so to the right of this canopy will penetrate the wall twice with 2 exhaust fans for the hood. The hood's 16 foot long, and this will, on this left end, will be the makeup air unit that we can set right on that steel. It's 896 pounds, which is less than what we had up there originally, the unit we took off, and they can penetrate into the wall and I can brick around it. The fact that it was there originally when I bought the building, the historical people said I can utilize that and put it back. You know, the alternative is to put a pad on the ground and go up the side of the wall with ductwork go into it. Well, that's got awful ugly, you know. I told the restaurant people, there's no way you're going on the outside of my wall with a duct. You're just not doing it, you know. I've gone to the extents to preserve this wall, especially this north wall. It's just a massive brick with the 2 silos, and we're putting no signage on this wall on the brick except on the front parapet, which up there now that we found when we took the green roofing off of it. We'll take those white letters off and probably put the name of the brew house on there.
I think picnic tables out here would be so cool.
That doorway and that window, they can walk right out, picnic tables with little awnings during the summer and drink beer on this side. By the way, I asked my historian if I could put my own block right below that. She said no. But I could fill in that smaller black hole with it, she says, because the hole's there existing, but I can't make a new hole. Yeah, this walkway, we're going to clean up, pour new concrete, put a new rail on here. But this is all lawn over here, and I like the lawn feel and landscaping for condensers, which will sit out this wall. I'll put up trees and shrubs to conceal those, but this will look like someone's backyard.
Yeah.
I will say this, we are working with the city on the quiet zone. I put a lot of, I compliment the city engineer in his due diligence, and we have formally applied for it, and we're waiting for a team to come out and look at every crossing. There are 2 crossings on this road, this track that are close to intersecting roads, which they may say we have to have double gates, meaning that's the expensive part, but only 2 crossings. But I'll wait to have that happen. It's a different, unique idea, but of everyone I've talked to, letters I've received from businesses, 90% of the general public businesses are in favor of it. But it's going to be, what is the cost?
Right.
Everything is, what is the cost to do things? But I also talked to another developer farther down the tracks where the old Habitat Humanity, where they're moving out of. He's looking at buying that for apartments. And when I called him, I knew him. I had worked a job or 2 with him before. I said, you know, if I get a quiet zone, he says, stop right there. So you get a quiet zone, I'm pulling a permit next week. Because it's this train sound that was the hump I couldn't get over with apartments this close to the tracks. You get that train to stop blowing its horns, and I'm developing new. So of all the need for residential in the downtown area, what their studies show is necessary, well, it shows here, our 16 apartments. We've got 15, 16 names already, you know, and we're not, you know, we're only half done with them. When we're all done, we'll probably have 30, 36 names.
Easily.
And it will just go online. You like it, you see it, you like it, sign your lease, done. But, you know, filling it is not taking what our performer originally said on a conservative basis. We had 2 years to fill the apartments. Will be filled in the first month.
Absolutely. So Charles, what's going on out here? You have a lot of stuff gone.
Now, it quit raining in Ohio this spring. So my purpose was, with the amount of rain, is to get the canopy up. We've re-sided the canopy.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
And saved all the old steel, and it looks good, and it's flash, which prevents the water from going into our basement, which always happened. We've torn out all the old asphalt in this parking lot, and we're right now with this equipment creating grades for our asphalt and fall, waterfall. But I wanted to show this area to you because it's in its raw form.
Right.
And all the concrete stairs and the canopy ADA, that's all done, waiting on the railing. But when they come off those stairs, the idea is, where does the water go? How do I flow the water on this site for a finished parking lot, and how do I lay out parking? So that being said, there's not much. You see the guys there, they start digging the dirt. I have more dirt here than I need, so it's coming off site. All right.
So is parking going here?
Well, this front part is where I wanted, from the stairs to the sidewalk, a seating area for the restaurant. And then on the opposite side of those stairs, we'll start parking up against the walls. More importantly, where the ADA ramp is, where I'll put my ADA handicap approved parking, and beyond that,
Right.
I'll go parking. And way on the far end, which you can't get a shot on, the way it's so far down, is where I'll have most of the residential parking on that far end.
So out here for the restaurant, we'll have seating on the upper level and down here?
Right.
That's really cool.
We have not got approval of the lower level yet. It's been on all our drawings. The city's made a point that it's not been approved yet.
Okay.
But I'm going to define it and let the restaurant take it in as part of their project, because it is seating for them. And there's a lot of liquor laws that they have to abide by.
I can't imagine. I'm hearing this awful scraping behind me. It's making me a little nervous. I can't imagine, what, 70, 80 years of trucks and deliveries and how compacted this must be.
We had layers and layers and layers of asphalt. We had 3 major layers, and you can see what the bucket just did, how hard that the dirt is underneath. There's actually places of concrete too.
Wow.
So it's been a mixed match.
Sure.
Of years and years, and the only way you can find out what's there is to start digging.
Scrape it up. So the new overhang was put on, or the galvanized decking, I guess it is.
Yeah, it's a galvanized decking that was approved by the state of Ohio, but in doing so, we saved the outriggers and the purlins.
Right.
And you can see they look old, they look rusted. We wanted to keep that. All that steel has been oiled, so it doesn't continue to rust. It's kind of like the bar above the for the doors, where you see the old doors
The
getting
doors are
cleaned
going to go
up.
back up.
Or putting back up on the rails and secured open, but it was what was here when we first came. So that's the historical look that we're trying to achieve.
Right. Well, and I think that's what's impressive with the whole project. You're respecting the integrity and the history of the building, but you're making it usable for today.
And you know, I've got a lot of cooperation with that. It's very hard to do. A lot of the contractors are now in the flavor of that, and the state has been working with us well, and our consultants, of what we can, what we can't do.
Sure.
The front of the building, if you want to scan over there, we found sandstone that we talked about before, 3/4 of an inch thick, and we've cleaned all the sandstone to get the glue off of it.
Yeah,
Some of the broken pieces on this side have to be remounted and repaired, but we take the wood off and we see a gray block pilaster, nothing on it. There was no, and we say, well, what was that? Well, no one knows. So we're driving that to look like sandstone. Porcelain top, redo the wood, metal around it for a thing, save the sandstone. We do good for them, they give us a little blessing somewhere else.
Very cool.
Give and take, that's what it's all about.
Great. Is there anything new inside that you want to show us today?
Yeah, I want to take you inside to the kitchen area for the restaurant, because it's screaming.
All right, Charles, there's a lot of blue stuff and metal stuff and stuff in the walls. What is going on with this spaghetti everywhere?
Well, we're in the restaurant side and moving along quite rapidly in the walls. We have all our utilities, all our water, our sewer, and our electric.
Okay.
Inside the walls, we have our head building official in the kitchen over there, which has 4 times as much electrical, sewer, water in the kitchen area.
Sure.
And we're going through an inspection right now, allowing us to insulate the walls.
Okay.
And then next Tuesday, start sheetrocking the walls.
That'll make a huge difference.
I put the sheetrock on all these walls. Behind you is an example of boarding up for a sanitary line that I just didn't want to expose with personnel in a seating area for a restaurant. But when we sheetrock these walls, we'll then be requesting from the head building official what's referred to as a white box occupancy.
Okay.
That sounds a little different, doesn't it? What's a white box? We rent our space a white box, and in this case, an expanded white box. We do all the utility work for them, but it allows the client, the restaurant, to then hire their finished people to come into our area and work side by side with me. It's not saying I'm 100%, but it allows someone else to come in and work with me. So they need about 3 months to build out their stove, their hoods, their prep tables, their bar area.
The bar is new. I don't think that was here last time.
No, we've outlined everything, the bar and the seating for the stuff. We gave all the background so we could put the utilities up in it. Now from there, they'll do their own bar top, they'll do their own lighting, but we've defined almost every wall in this area. You can look on the ground right there, that's the foyer, the wooden foyer. We just haven't stood to put the studs up. By the end of the day, they may be up.
And I think it's interesting, even small things like the ceiling being painted, how much that changes the feeling of the space. It cleans it up and kind of makes it harmonious.
It does exactly what we thought, or what they thought would happen, is we took painted everything down to the concrete columns, a very dark brown. But all the piping above there somewhat disappeared because the lighting is going to be similar to this that we put in, and you won't see the pipes with the lights in.
Yeah, essentially.
It worked.
Right.
I was shocked with the color. It took me a day or two to get used to it, just because it's such a major change. But now it's been up for over a week and a half. I'm accustomed to it, you know.
It looks great.
So this is a lot of work this last week just in this kitchen area. I'm going to hold off upstairs till the next time we film. We're actually setting cabinets and doing paintings in the apartments on this end.
Yeah.
It's kind of exciting, but I like to get more done before I show you because they're beautiful.
Oh, I bet.
And the color schemes by the local Katie Hines, local interior decorator. I've learned, how can I say this, not to comment until it's all done and said. It's a beautiful design, but right now it's kind of spotty and everyone's going, what are you doing? I said, continue with the colors. You know?
Trust Katie.
Yeah, trust Katie. She's got a good choice. Here's something I'm going to throw out, and I'm going to hold it off till next week. Below us, on the garden level, this whole area above or below the restaurant, we have a client, a brew pub.
That's fantastic news.
And he has a band area for music.
Thank you.
Entertainment Central, here we go.
Love it. Thank you.
He called yesterday. He had one problem with the lease. He wanted to add another 5-year bump to it. Well, of course I can add more. That's 15-year lease, no problem. He is so excited. We're meeting his equipment suppliers. Sorry about the noise. Next week to see what we have to do to adhere. But we're actually down there putting floor drain, trench drains in for the making of beer in the rooms as we speak. So we worked hard for this, and it's coming. This building is bringing people here.
Fantastic.
It really is.
Great. We look forward to seeing the changes in our next visit.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate you guys coming by.